The name Dorothea Binz echoes through the annals of darkness. But what led this woman down a path of unspeakable atrocities? How did her reign of terror come crashing down, culminating in a fate so hauntingly fitting? Let's find out. The Ravensbrück camp was a really terrible place where many women suffered. It was like a real-life nightmare. Most of the women there experienced horrible things, and many of them died. What's even scarier is that the people who hurt them were other women. One of the supervisors, Dorothea Binz, was only 19 years old. But before we go any further, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Ravensbrück was a very big camp for women during the time when the Third Reich ruled Germany. More than 120,000 prisoners from all over Europe were brought there. It included brave women who opposed Hitler's regime from Germany itself, as well as women who were considered disposable by the Nazis, such as Jews, prostitutes, and homeless people. They were all victims of a cruel belief system. Sadly, Ravensbrück holds the memories of at least 30,000 prisoners who suffered greatly. Some were killed quickly by hanging or poisonous gases, but most of them went through a slow and painful journey, given enough food, got sick easily, and had to do very hard work that hurt their bodies a lot. Dorothea Binz was born on March 16, 1920, in a beautiful town called Templin in Germany. She came from a modest background. Her parents had a tough time financially, but they did their best to raise her. When Dorothy was just 15 years old in the late 1930s, Adolf Hitler became the leader of Germany. In those turbulent times, Dorothy saw a chance for personal success within the Nazi regime. At the young age of 17, she decided to join the SS auxiliary units, which were very selective in their recruitment process. The SS auxiliary units were divided into two main categories, the SS Helferinnen and the SS Kriegisch. The former included signalmen, while the latter consisted of employees who provided essential services during wartime. The infamous Nazi camp wardens belonged to the SS Kriegisch Helferinnen. In 1939, when she was 19 years old, Dorothea Binz became a member of the SS Auxiliary Unit. Within a month, she was assigned to work in the kitchen of Ravensbrück concentration camp. Surprisingly, her quick rise in ranks led to her becoming a supervisor in the horrifying environment of the camp. Despite her youth, she occupied a position of authority and was under the vigilant scrutiny of overseers such as Emma Zimmer and Maria Mandel. Within this particular context, detainees who were subjected to solitary confinement frequently met a grim fate akin to a death sentence. Dorothea Binz ascended through the ranks and assumed the role of Deputy Chief Wardress, initially informally in July 1943 and later officially in February 1944. This appointment solidified her dominance within the camp, granting her greater leverage to exert control. Yet, this newfound power marked the commencement of an unrelenting era of abuse. Witnesses testified to the horrifying experiences they endured under her reign of terror. Beatings, slaps, kicks, shootings, whippings, stomping, and unrelenting abuse. She wielded the power to decide who would live and who would die. She was known for her sadistic tendencies, never passing a prisoner without inflicting pain. She always had a whip, stick, or belt nearby, and her physical strength was compared to that of a formidable man, leaving the captives deeply tormented. The mere presence of Binz at the assembly area, known as the Appelplatz, would instill a chilling silence among the prisoners. Armed with a whip and accompanied by a leashed German shepherd, Binz exuded an aura of terror and sadism. She would kick prisoners to their deaths, or select them for execution without hesitation. Her cruelty had no limits, inflicting unimaginable suffering upon those already trapped within the camp. She had a keen eye for identifying the most vulnerable and fearful prisoners, deliberately singling them out for her sadistic torment. Using lashes and blows, she derived a sick satisfaction from inflicting pain and violence upon her victims. From the years 1943 to 1945, Dorothea Binz, occupying a prominent position within the command staff, wielded an immense degree of power and authority. Tasked with the responsibility of training and assigning duties to a staggering number of more than 100 female supervisors, her sphere of influence extended far and wide. It was through her calculated actions and manipulations that a pervasive and unrelenting reign of terror was established, perpetuating the horrifying and monstrous nature of the camp in which she operated. Dorothea Binz was not only involved in the cruel treatment of prisoners at Ravensbrück, but also played a significant role in training other violent female guards, including Ruth Closius. Together they created an environment of bullying, forced labor, and targeted extermination of prisoners. Dorothy actively participated in these horrific war crimes and others alongside her fellow staff members. It is shocking to learn that approximately 3,500 women from the SS auxiliary units served in Hitler's concentration camps. Whether in dedicated facilities like Ravensbrück, Auschwitz-Birkenau, Mauthausen, Bergen-Belsen, or specialized branches within other camps, women were heavily involved in the machinery of oppression and destruction, specifically targeting female prisoners. However, it is important to recognize that not all women in Germany during that time embraced cruelty. The records of Ravensbrück show that many new supervisors chose to resign once they fully understood the horrors they were expected to perpetrate. Remarkably, they faced no punishment for making this courageous decision. The testimony of a concentration camp survivor reveals how ordinary people, like the female guards at Ravensbrück, could become agents of unimaginable evil. This serves as a powerful reminder that the capacity for such atrocities exists within all of us, even in the present day. It warns us that if we don't confront and address the darkness that resides within human nature, it can manifest anywhere. Within the confines of Ravensbrück, Dorothea Binz had a relationship with Edmund Brenning, an SS officer and aide to the camp commandant. Together, they would take seemingly romantic walks, witnessing the floggings of prisoners and callously laughing in the face of their torment. Their shared residence outside the camp walls provided a disturbing haven where they could revel in their perverse amusement. However, their time together came to an end in late 1944, when Brenning was transferred to the Buchenwald concentration camp. His fate remains uncertain, as German documents list him as missing, leaving open the possibility that he may have escaped Germany after the war, evading capture and punishment. As the Allied forces approached Ravensbrück, the decision was made to relocate the prisoners to other areas. Initially, trains were used for transportation, but as the march progressed, the prisoners were forced to walk, enduring a grueling ordeal known as the Death March. It was during one of these marches that Dorothea Binz managed to escape, slipping away from the suffering she had helped create. On May 3, 1945, Dorothea Binz was captured by British forces in Hamburg, marking the end of her reign. She was imprisoned in Recklinghausen and awaited trial for the war crimes she had committed. The trials took place in Hamburg from 1946 to 1947, resulting in the death sentences of 16 SS personnel from Ravensbrück concentration camp. Dorothea Binz, then 27 years old, was among them. Charged with heinous crimes, she admitted to beating camp prisoners, but her plea for mercy was ignored. On May 2, 1947, Dorothea Binz was executed in Hamilton Prison along with the other convicted individuals. Albert Pierre Point, a well-known executioner responsible for executing numerous individuals, including Auschwitz camp guard Franz Hessler and Warden Irma Gries, carried out the sentence. In a desperate bid to evade her impending fate, Dorothea Binz, hours after the confirmation of her death sentence in April of 1947, made a grim attempt on her own life. She slashed her wrists, hoping to bleed away the torment that awaited her. However, swift intervention from officials prevented her from succumbing to her self-inflicted wounds. The wheels of justice continued to turn, and on that fateful day of May 2, 1947, Binz met her ultimate end within the walls of Hamelin Prison. It was there, beneath the somber gaze of British executioner Albert Pierrepoint, that she faced the finality of her actions. The hangman's noose brought an end to her life, severing the last ties to a world where her deeds had wrought immeasurable suffering. In 1959, the East German government transformed the former Ravensbrück concentration camp into a national memorial complex. This site stands as a powerful reminder of the horrors endured, preserving authentic artifacts from that time. The commandant's office, prisoners' cells, and a haunting crematorium are among the preserved structures that bear witness to the immense suffering inflicted on innocent lives. At the center of the memorial, a solemn steel structure created by Will Lambert stands proudly on the lakeshore, serving as a focal point for the somber commemoration. As we reflect on this final chapter, it is crucial to remember the importance of seeking justice for the victims and honoring their memory through the creation of memorials. These memorials ensure that the lessons of history are never forgotten. May we find comfort in the pursuit of a future where compassion triumphs over cruelty, and where the atrocities of the past remain distant echoes of a bygone era. With that said, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. See you in the next video. Till then, take care.